All right, hello, welcome back. It's the Degenerate joined by Steak, and we are here to preview the NFL Draft as we started last week with the AFC and NFC North, and we came away with some pretty good fucking takeaways, if I don't say so myself. Although I haven't gotten any bets down yet, I don't really attack it super early. I don't know about you. Did you punch any wagers in?
I didn't, but I will. This is the week for sure.
I think you were starting to flip flop. I liked Abdul Carter to be drafted second by the Browns. You're starting to think it's somebody else now.
No.
Oh, who
No,
did you say was gonna draft Shedeur Sanders? Is that the conversation we were having?
The New Orleans Saints, which is
well, shit.
Talking about them today.
Spoiler alert. My bad. Yeah. I thought you were changing your mind on something. Anyways, we are going to talk about the AFC and the NFC South today. So we've got the Bucks, Falcons, Panthers, Saints, and then the Jags, Colts, Texans, and Titans. I think this should make for a little bit more of an exciting preview, just in terms of there's a little bit there's some more, I don't know, top tier players that we're going to be discussing, as opposed to who the fuck are we talking about with the Cowboys? It was like some edge rusher from Texas A&M that I never heard of.
Yeah, I think Shamar Stewart. We're talking about Mike Green, Marshall. Yeah, I mean he'll come up here too. They'll come up here too.
Not that we've done the NFC East yet, but we were talking about defensive players, and I think you said you thought the Cowboys would go that route. Anyways, let's get into it. So we'll start with the NFC South, and we're going to go by order of who's got the lowest pick. So the Carolina Panthers are on at 8, then the Saints are on at 9, and then we'll jump back a little bit later to the Falcons and the Bucks. So the Panthers going at 8. Obviously, they've got their guy with Bryce Young. I would imagine you'd probably want to give him some help with some aging receivers and whatnot. But it looks like I'm pulling up the first mock here, and they've got Jalen Walker, the linebacker / edge coming out of Georgia for the defense. Okay. That's who's going to the Panthers in both mocks. I'm looking at Kuiper and I'm looking at Mike Band on NFL.com. Jalen Walker, linebacker / edge out of Georgia. I mean, I think I said this in the last show. From watching Notre Dame play Georgia, this was the only guy that really. Oh no, Mikael Williams.
Those are the two dogs.
Those are the two dogs. Steak. If I go to Bet Online, again, those are the odds that we're referencing here. If I go to Carolina, it looks like defensive line / edge is plus 105 for them for that to be the first position they draft. Linebackers plus 160, wide receivers plus 475. Everything else is a huge long shot from there. So I thought they were going to address
or wide receiver tight end.
Tight end is completely separate. Tight end is 18-1.
It's funny that I actually think that's worth a sprinkle. And
tight end?
Yeah. And I think you gave a really good preface, because I guess they could draft Teteroa McMillan. Don't quote me on the pronunciation of that name. I guess they could draft him, but what better way? You said it, a weapon for your quarterback. What better way than the tight end he's going to throw the football to for the next 10 years? And let's say they don't get Mason Graham, right? Because I think he's option 1 at pick 8. If Mason Graham's still there, I think they're going to take him. If you're the team who needs both positions and you're playing best player available, Tyler Warren is better than Jalen Walker and Shamar Stewart. And so I'm just wondering, do you think it's that crazy at 18-1 to sprinkle the fact that this team could draft Tyler Warren?
Tommy Tremble is who their starting tight end is, and
exactly.
He's a nice player from Notre Dame, but he is not Tyler Warren. No, I know. He's more of a blocker. He doesn't really get involved in the passing game. I kind of like where your head's at. I don't hate it. I mean, they're good at running back.
We have to find a few long shots.
No, you're absolutely right. So let's just go through this for a second with the Carolina Panthers. Their wide receiver, Jalen Coker, David Moore, Xavier Legette, Adam Thielen. You got to bolster that.
They do, for sure. Jalen Coker was coming on nice. Legette was coming on nice. And obviously Adam Thielen defies logic and time. But they need another receiver. I can't argue with you at all. I was kind of planning on them attacking that in the second round with somebody like Luther Burden, Isaiah Bond, somebody like that.
That should be, you know what? That's a good freaking day 2 thing right there. Day 2 wide receiver or tight end long shot. 18-1 on Bet Online. Just to real quick go over their defensive line. Derek Brown, dog. I think he's the guy from Auburn. Bobby Brown from the Rams they just signed. Tershawn Wharton, from Kansas City. And then they have Jadeveon Clowney, who's kind of washed. Linebackers are pretty weak. I guess Josie Jewell sounds like a name I would recognize. Trevin Wallace. Yeah, I don't really recognize much. I love JC Horn. I'm sure most people do. So, and then outside of that, Mike Jackson, Damani Richardson, and Wade Smith. So, yeah, okay. They need help on defense. So that makes sense. I guess I'm just surprised that the defensive line is it has such low odds like that, but won't look too much into it.
It'll probably be Jalen Walker.
Right after the Carolina Panthers on the draft board are the New Orleans Saints. So spoiler alert. I didn't mean to to blow that. You think the Saints take Shedeur Sanders, but Steak, I'm actually looking here, and that's what Kuiper has.
Okay, and what are the odds?
And that's what NFL.com has.
And what do the odds have?
Well, let's go take a look. I wonder if it's even going to be up, because sometimes if it's super obvious.
It's not super obvious.
Well, BetOnline does not have the New Orleans Saints even offered for their first player. Now, what we can do is the team to draft Shedeur Sanders, and the Saints are the favored, even money.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That's not like a fun pick then, I guess, but I think Shedeur Sanders is a wonderful fit for the New Orleans Saints.
They need a quarterback. You can't keep going. You can't keep going in with Derek Carr.
Derek Carr is injured, so it's even worse than it seems. It might be Spencer Rattler if you don't.
Oh God, no, you can't do that.
You can't.
It's yeah. So what would ruin this is somebody taking.
The Giants could take Shedeur Sanders. What are their odds?
Plus 350.
Yeah, that's not crazy. And who else is on that list?
Steelers 6-1, Browns 6-1, Jets plus 850, Raiders 10-1.
Jets draft before them as well. Raiders 10-1. Yeah, no Raiders for me. The Giants plus 350 is interesting. I'll say that.
You want to hear the odds on who will draft Tyler Warren?
Yes.
You've got the Colts at plus 165, the Jets plus 240, the Bears plus 350, Saints 8-1, and the Panthers 14-1.
Yeah. So you still got better odds with Panthers 18-1 tight end than.
Yep. Okay. Let's keep moving. So Saints, Shedeur, addressing quarterback. Carolina, fun long shot for the tight end. I think receiver might be even worth the play too. But I like what you said about round 2 addressing that need. Next up are the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons are going to be drafting 15th, right behind the Colts, right ahead of the Arizona Cardinals. Let's see what the mocks have. The Atlanta Falcons taken. So ESPN has them taking Mike Green, the edge from Marshall. Yep. That's probably going to be who they go with. Yep, that's the other mock too in the NFL.com one. Mike Green. He is a junior from Marshall. It says Raheem Morris was in attendance at Marshall's Pro Day. Green's reported 3-cone time would have been the fastest mark by any defensive lineman or linebacker at this year's combine.
So I learned something interesting. The Falcons gave up the second most passing touchdowns last year, and they had the second fewest sacks. So you pick your poison. The secondary was terrible, and the defensive line was terrible. I think Mike Green makes perfect sense. I also think Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, makes perfect sense. I'm curious what the odds are for Falcons to take a cornerback.
These are great setup questions. So the defensive lineman edge for the Falcons to draft first is minus 275. That might be one of the biggest numbers that you see for any team. Yeah, that's probably happening. Offensive lineman is 7-1. Cornerback is 7-1.
Cool.
Linebacker.
Then it sounds like they might be straight set on Mike Green.
Yep. All right. Well, we've got those pretty
also wrapped up. Sorry to cut you off.
No, it's fine.
Only 2 picks in the first 120 for the Falcons, so they have to address their needs very quickly.
Ooh. Okay. Noted. Next up, my beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 19th after the Seahawks, and ahead of the Denver Broncos. So let's talk about what the Bucs might need. So we'll go to the mock. Nick Amonwori. Field Yates has the safety from South Carolina being drafted by Tampa. And finally, we have a little bit of a change up here. The other mock has Jahad Campbell, linebacker from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It says, having just signed another 1-year deal, Lavonte David could be the perfect mentor to prepare Campbell to eventually take over the green dot. Campbell, a true 3-down linebacker who recorded 5 sacks in 2024, offers the kind of blitzing upside that defined David's game over the last several seasons. Not opposed to that. I don't know that I hate either positions that the mocks have the Tampa Bay Bucks going. And then let's look here. Defensive lineman edge is plus 155, linebacker plus 180, cornerback plus 450, and then lineman 7-1. Any thought on the Bucks?
I think that they would take Michael Williams at 19 if he was there. And honestly, if not, like they're kind of my trade back candidates. In my head, I think that they're like right there in no man's land at 19. Like I'm picturing who is going to be available. And I could literally see them trading back. Example, team like the Green Bay Packers who really need a cornerback with not knowing what the fuck's going on with why am I drawing a blank on the cornerback?
Jair Alexander.
Yep, Jair Alexander, exactly. There's going to be a team at 19 that wants to trade up. Maybe it's somebody who wants to draft Colston Loveland and not get jumped on him. So in my opinion, I think it's Bucks get Michael Williams because he's at least potentially generational talent, or they consider trading back because that Worry guy, he could be there at the end of the first round.
Yeah, so he's a safety. He could be there at the end of the first round. Michael Williams, by the way, his draft position is 15.5, and the over is minus 120.
Yeah, so I'm close. Like it could be close.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I think I'm looking at the Bucks depth chart here. So they signed Hassan Reddick.
Yep.
Kalijah Cansey's awesome. Vita Vea is awesome. Logan Hall, they've also got. Looking at the linebacker, yeah. Kenny Britt was playing linebacker alongside Levante David last year, and he was really bad. They also have Yaya Diaby, who's, I guess, technically an outside linebacker. He's pretty good. The secondary isn't terrible. I'm not going to say I think linebacker is a bigger position in need. So as of right now, I would go plus 180 linebacker through the Bucks draft, but safety, if you want to go off the mocks, is 8-1 for the Bucks to draft a safety first overall. I don't know that I like defensive lineman or edge at plus 155.
Yeah, I don't either, even though I do like Michael Williams. I technically believe he's going to be gone right before the Bucks pick. And like I said, then I think it becomes a crapshoot for the Bucks.
Yeah. Okay. So LB plus 155. Okay. That's the NFC South. Let's go to the AFC South. So we got the Jags, Colts, Texans, and Titans. Titans are going to be picking number 1. This is probably not worth talking too much about, but the number 1 overall pick is Cam Ward minus 20,000. Yeah, so that's happening. Maybe not as exciting then as I once thought. But Steak, let me just ask you this. Do you think that's the right play for the Titans?
Yes, I think it's absolutely the right play for the Titans. I don't think they have another play.
I agree.
And I don't think, like you said, it's very exciting to talk about. But man, how exciting if Isaiah Bond or Luther Burden is there with their first pick of the second round. That's exciting.
That is exciting. They've got Calvin Ridley, Treylon Burks, Van Jefferson. They definitely need a wide receiver. Tight end, they do have Chig, who's pretty good. Yeah. They signed 2 interior offensive linemen. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They signed 1 from Detroit, Kevin Zietler, and a left tackle from Pittsburgh, Dan Moore Jr. So they are bolstering that offensive line. And then the QBs, Brandon Allen, Tim Boyle, and Will Levis. So it's got to be Cam Ward.
It's Cam Ward. Yeah, it's Cam Ward.
Okay, let's go to the next team. The Jags are 4. So mock draft this should be interesting. Oh, no, wait. Why am I seeing, is that not right? No, the Jags are 5. I wrote it down wrong. Sorry.
Yeah.
Patriots are 4. Field Yates has Jacksonville taking Mason Graham, and NFL.com has them taking Mason Graham.
Yeah.
So this is a weird guy.
It's hard not to see them taking Mason Graham. I think the Panthers are praying they don't, but that seems like the only option. What are the odds?
You know what? They're not even up, so it just must be too big of a number. I think you can actually take the number 5 overall pick. Hold on. Let's see what that is. Oh, wow. Mason Graham is only minus 150.
To go to the Jags?
To be the 5th player drafted.
That's incredibly interesting. Who else has good odds?
Armand Membu? I don't know who that is. Jalen Walker, Ashton Genty, and Will Campbell. All under 10-1.
That's crazy, bro. Jalen Walker isn't that crazy to me. It's just after drafting Trayvon Walker, should they really draft Jalen Walker? I'm just saying, it's not that they're both Walkers, but they are both from Georgia, similar kind of guys,
Well,
like,
look at the Eagles.
Yeah, Trayvon Walker was such a disappointment compared to Aiden Hutchinson, who he got drafted over. Will Campbell is the guy from LSU, the offensive lineman. I don't think anybody would be mad. And Membu is another offensive lineman from Missouri. So they need offensive line. So would I be shocked? No. Do I think I would absolutely be pressing Mason Graham minus 150? 1,000,000%.
Yeah, that almost seems like too easy. You would get screwed though, obviously, if the Jags trade up. But are they going to trade up with the Patriots?
Trade up to draft 2. That's the thing, is I think whoever picks at 5 would probably take Mason Graham.
So the Patriots, just out of if anybody cares, they're projected to take Will Campbell.
Yeah, in this draft, I have somehow they get Abdul Carter, but it's only because they have the Giants taking Shadur Sanders.
Right. Okay. All right. So that's Jags, Titans. Let's go to the Colts at 14. The Indianapolis Colts are right after the Miami Dolphins, and they are projected to pick Colston Loveland from ESPN or Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State.
Yes.
Colston Loveland could also be a guy. Yep. Plenty of buzz on Pro Day. Okay. Medical evaluations will play a huge role in whether Colts deem Simmons worthy of a top 15 pick. Let's go to Indianapolis and see what the odds are here. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. Tight end, even money. So that's Colston Loveland.
It's Colston Loveland, but also it's not. I don't think it's a given that Tyler Warren will be gone. I think it's most likely that Tyler Warren will be gone. They're praying they get him. And go ahead.
I was going to say offensive lineman is 3-1. That's a little respect to that market.
Yeah, because Colston Loveland with the 14th pick is like 5 to 6 picks too early. And I think
and this is interesting. Team to draft Tyler Warren, the favorite are the Colts at plus 165.
That's
so
incredibly interesting.
I don't understand something here. So who does? Oh, this mock has the Bears taking Tyler Warren at 10.
Mm-hmm.
And this mock, they both have the Bears taking Tyler Warren at 10.
Yeah, that'd be sick for the Bears. That'd be sick.
Yeah, but we don't have the Bears doing that. We have the Bears taking was it defensive lineman that we liked for them?
I think so. Yeah, I do think so.
You have to go back and listen to episode 1. Okay. So the Colts, they take a tight end, even money, offensive lineman 3-1, or linebacker plus 575.
But I'll say this to the people thinking that Tyler Warren to the Colts plus 165 is a better bet than just taking the Colts to take a tight end at even money. I disagree, because I do think there's a chance if Tyler Warren is gone, they will take Colston Loveland. So if you're going to bet that, I would bet Colts to draft the tight end.
Okay. I like that. All right. Last one. This is great. We'll wrap it up in 20 minutes. Yeah, Texans, 25th pick. Mocks have Tatera.
Oh, wow. He ain't falling at 25, I promise.
McMillan at 25. And the other mock has Emeka Egbuka.
Do you remember when the Vikings drafted Justin Jefferson and the whole war room threw a party, basically? They were so excited.
Yes.
That's what will happen with the Houston Texans if they get Teteroa and McMillan. That's how huge of a pick that would be.
Better than Egbuka?
Yes. Oh, yes.
I'm pretty sure the knock on McMillan, isn't it, that he's not really into football? He doesn't watch film and stuff. Didn't you see those videos go around?
Yeah.
He's a receiver from Arizona, right?
Yeah, I have him over Egbuka for sure.
Okay, well, you want to hear something really spicy? The Texans' first player drafted, offensive lineman, is minus 250.
That's because that's what they're doing. I'm surprised that your mocks don't have it and mine don't either. The Titans better fucking draft offensive line, dude.
The Texans, you mean?
Yeah, they have the worst offensive line ever, and they have CJ Stroud they have to protect. Don't get me wrong, because of what happened with Tank Dell and because Stephon Diggs got hurt towards the end of the season, even Nico Collins was injured last year, I see why it seems like you should go wide receiver, but you better go offensive line, dude, and try to hit on a wide receiver in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th round, whatever it is. The Texans, sorry to be boring, will absolutely go offensive line, and they absolutely should.
Okay. By the way, speaking of Mason Graham, just on the Jags at 5, under 5.5 draft position for Graham is -140. But if you think he's going to go 5, you're better off taking. Oh no, you're not.
It's
Graham
pretty
is
much the same.
-150. Yeah, save yourself 10 cents of juice. Okay, I'm with you. Texans offensive lineman -250. Don't really know who it'll be, but that sounds about right.
What's wide receiver?
I think it's plus 350.
Cool.
Kind of worth it. All right. Not super exciting, but let's go back to it. Bucks linebacker plus 155. Falcons DB 7-1. Maybe.
Yeah. Even though we believe it's Mike, we both seem to think it's Mike Green from Marshall, but 7-1 is worth it because Will Johnson's really fucking good, man.
Yeah. Panthers at 8. Not sure exactly how to play it. By the way, Colston Loveland draft position is 19.5. Overs juiced. Day 2 wide receiver potentially could be a good bet. Shador is going to go to the Saints. AFC South. We know the Titans are likely taking Cam Young. Cam Ward. Yep. Cam Young got golf.
A lot of golf, dude.
Jags -150. Mason Graham or Mason Graham under 5.5 -140. The Colts maybe taking a shot at a tight end, or not a shot, I guess tight end. They're even money to pick. And the Texans would be maybe wide receiver plus 350, maybe.
Yeah.
If you like the mocks, if you're a mock guy.
Yeah, but I'm not. I'm sorry. I just haven't. I'm too fixated on them getting that offensive line better.
Okay. I think from the 2 previews we've done, I like the leans in the North divisions, right? Isn't that what we did last time? AFC, NFC North. I like those better than what I like from here. This is
for sure. Yeah, we had Cam Ward. We have the Colts, who we think are definitely going tight end. We have the Falcons, who we know are actually definitely going D end or cornerback. So it's like a lot more definitive, I think, in these 2 divisions.
Yeah. So the way I preface this video, I now sound like a moron because it wasn't quite as exciting. But all right, good stuff. Thanks for tuning in, Steak. We'll check you later. Enjoy the draft, and we'll be at you with the next preview later this week.
See ya.